This is activity 1, a number line from lesson 1, number puzzles, and this is the first lesson of unit 4, linear equations and linear systems. And this is what the authors call a notice and wonder activity. So you look at a number line, and what do you notice about that number line? And what do you wonder about that number line? Well, I'm going to skip ahead and use this number line to review some of the ideas that you learned as 7th graders. But first of all, let's look at this number line as a series of addition problems. So we're going to begin at 0, and we're going to add several numbers, 3 numbers, and end at a positive 12. And so if we add a negative 4, you go from 0 to negative 4. Always start at 0. The first addend is negative 4, and so you add that and you end at negative 4. The second addend, so the second number that you add, is a positive 7. So negative 4 plus a positive 7. Now this arrow goes in the opposite direction. This is going in the positive direction now. It's 7 units, and you end up at positive 3. And finally, the third addend is positive 9. And so you add positive 9 to positive 3, and you end up at this positive 12. And what the authors did in 7th grade, and this is unit 5 in 7th grade, by the way, they would put a dot at the sum at the end of the problem. So this is a dot at positive 12. And then they would reframe this problem. But before I get there, actually, the summation of all of these steps is from 0 to positive 12. And let me just write these steps down. A series of addends. It's 0 plus negative 4 plus positive 7 plus positive 9 equals positive 12. So then what the authors would do in 7th grade, unit 5 of 7th grade, is they'd reframe this as a subtraction problem, and specifically as a difference problem. What is the difference on a number line between positive 12 and negative 4? So they would write that as a positive 12 minus a negative 4. And so this problem is, what's the difference between that positive 12 and that negative 4? And so we would look at that positive 12 as the end, and that is where you end up. You add these addends together. Where do you end? You end at positive 12. And if you subtract the beginning amount, so take this negative 4 away, you end up with an answer of 16. This is 16 units from this negative 4 to this positive 12. And I did say, I talked a little bit about subtracting it away because it's another model, another picture that's helpful in problems that we've done throughout 8th grade so far on the using the slope triangles. But in this case, just look at it as the difference. How far is negative 4 away from positive 12 on a number line? And also you have a direction. So you have a distance, how far it's away, and a direction. So if you take the sum of the addition problem, the positive 12, subtract the very first addend, so that's a negative 4. It is, those two values are 16 units away, and it's 16 units in a positive direction. So it's an arrow to the right. It is the second and third addends combined. Now in 7th grade, we didn't do that. We only looked at a second addend. But this has a second and third addend, so you can actually combine them. There's a total of a positive 16 units. Well, 16 units is the distance, and then we added a direction. The arrow is to the right, so it's a positive arrow, so it's a positive 16 units. So it's a little review of looking at the difference of two values on a number line. And I want to do that because what's going to be very useful in the activities in this lesson is to use this number line to retrace steps. So we're going to go backwards from this positive 12, and we're going to retrace our steps backwards to get to 0. So what did we do first? Well, we added actually, what did we do last? We added a positive 9 last, so we need to take that positive 9 away. So positive 12 minus positive 9 is positive 3. So notice we could look at this as What's the difference between positive 12 and positive 9? Well, it's the 3 units. It's a positive 3 units from positive 9 to positive 12, and that's going to take us back to this positive 3 units. I don't think I would mix up right now the idea of difference. Just say that you're retracing the step, you're subtracting a positive 9 units, and you're ending at positive 3. So what's the next step? Well, the next step was, how did we get to this positive 3? Well, we had added a positive 7. So now you take that positive 7 away, and you go back and you end up at negative 4. So this is positive 3 minus positive 7. Where do you end up? At negative 4. A nice review of subtracting positive and negative integers right now. So now you end up at negative 4. And so then how did we get from negative 4 to 0? Well, you added a negative 4. So now you have to subtract that negative 4. So notice, if you have negative 4 and you subtract that negative 4 away, you just take it away, you end up with 0. If you have something and you remove all of it, you end up at 0. You have 0 left. And that is the same as adding a positive 4. So a little review of subtracting a negative value. Use the inverse operation, which is addition, and the additive inverse of a negative 4 is positive 4. So negative 4 plus a positive 4, and that's a definition of an additive inverse, is that the two values combined equals 0. So negative 4 plus positive 4 equals 0. So a little review of difference. It doesn't look like we're going to use that idea all that much, but we are going to use this idea of retracing steps along a number line.